Sewlush, easy projects fully explained. How to add writing with PE design. In this tutorial you'll learn how to add writing to your project, from handwriting to fancy lettering. I'm going to have a look at design settings and make sure it's the size I want. Also make sure it's set to the right machine type and then the right hoop size, and I'm doing 4 by 4 inches, but if you're doing a larger embroidery you can change it in here to whatever size you want. And then I need to go to image, and I need to have saved my writing as a file that PE Design can open. JPEG is a good format for this. Now, even though the file is bigger than the embroidery hoop, I'm going to leave it like that because it's within the writing itself is within the hoop. I'm just going to make that slightly bigger. The first one I'm going to use is the open curve. This is the one that looks like a letter S. And then I'm going to click on triple stitch from the drop down menu, and then I want to do mine in a colour different to black, so I'm just going to choose red. It's already set on red. That's the colour there, you can see. And then I'm just going to work around the writing. So to check that now, I'm going to go to image and pull the slider across to the minus, which will take the background picture out, and then you can see what the writing looks like, and that's a pretty good representation of what was there. I can get up a bit closer to look at what the stitches will look like, and that's how they look. I'll just go back to image. Having done that, I go back to shapes and choose the curve shape again and keep on going through the writing. As you're using your curve shape, you need to click every couple of millimetres. It's the clicking that adds the node points as you go, and you need to double click at the end to finish off. And I can see I'm just a little bit off by looking at with the W there. So to fix that, I just go to my select tool and choose the node tool, and then you can see by the nodes that I can actually fix that. Just dragging them to where I want them to be. So that looks better to me. That looks like it's following the writing a bit more exactly. I put it back to the original size. I go to image, I pull the slider across, and now I have a look. It looks okay. I'm not really happy with that little bit in between there, so I'm just going to pull the slider back, make it larger, and just have another little go at that. That's better. So go to image, use the slider, and yeah, I'm happy with that. So if I put it back to its correct size and now have a look, yeah, that's pretty good. So to finish that writing, you just keep on doing the same thing with the second word. But what I'm going to show you now is what would it look like if you used a different stitch. And I'm going to use a fine zigzag. And I'm going to reduce the stitch width to 4, which will give me a very fine zigzag instead of this straight triple stitch. So then I just start again at the top, and you can see already it's a more pronounced version of the first word we did. And if we take the image to remove it, that's what it looks like. I'll just bring that up bigger so you can see. So that's what the zigzag would look like. It depends really on what you're trying to achieve. If you want it to look like someone's actually signed something with a pen, then the triple stitch is better. But if you're looking for it to stand out more, then the narrow zigzag will do the job for you. I'm just going to finish that so you can see what the final thing looks like. Again, it's just a case of pulling the tool around and clicking every few millimetres just to make sure that it's the right shape. I can see that my L isn't exactly right, so I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to choose my node tool and I'm just going to lower that L onto the path of the writing. You can see now what it looks like. So that's with the zigzag and that's with the triple stitch. There is always the opportunity to write in a different kind of stitch altogether, and I'll just show you how to do that. I take that S off and I go to my shape and I choose my tool. If instead of zigzag or triple stitch I was to use, say, this is called candle wicking, and I've made them. I'm going to reduce it down to 14 to make them a bit smaller, and then I need to go back to my image, open up my S, and then start again at the bottom of the S. And that gives you a very different kind of letter. That one isn't quite as identifiable as an S. I will show you another one as well. This is called chain stitch. And if I look at that a bit bigger, I might actually reduce that with the node tool just to make it a bit more easy to read. Yeah. So you can see what that looks like done in that particular, but there are a few you can ever play around with if you're looking to make your writing look something different. But generally speaking, that will get you started on embroidering writing onto your items where you're actually following someone's handwriting. You can always use the texts that are inbuilt and go through and find one that looks a bit like the handwriting and then just type it. That's been just done with the text that's inbuilt into the program. And yeah, I think it looks okay, but it doesn't give you that individuality of somebody's handwriting that you might be looking for. So I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial on